Good morning, guys. It's 7:28 in the morning on February 20th, 2009. I'm gonna have a laid-back day. I'm gonna try to catch up on my sleep. I went to bed at maybe earlier last night, actually, maybe 2. Maybe it was 4. I don't know, but I've only been sleeping about 4 hours a night. It's killing me, and it's actually, I think, making me a little sick. So I'm trying to get caught back up on my sleep and stuff, but whatever. That's just why I'm up so early. But this vlog is just going to be about lower surgery. Just a little background. I've always wondered what a non-trans man, a man born male, who's lived with a penis his whole life, what option he would pick if he were a trans man. For lower surgery, would he pick the phalloplasty or the metoidioplasty? So I have this new friend here. We met back when I was here in December, and we hung out. And he is born male and identifies as gay. And he's a really cool guy, and he watches this, so hello. And hopefully I don't embarrass him or anything, but hopefully I can recount this conversation without him feeling embarrassed or put out, but I don't think he'd really mind. But we talked about it. He's really cool with trans stuff. Totally cool, just totally open to it, totally asks cool questions, watches my YouTube now, is interested in it, so he's very cool, very respectful, way better than a lot of the gay males, it seems, here. So, thank you, Derek, for that. Yes, his name's Derek, he's cool, I don't think care if I said that, but, I felt like I could ask him, explain to him the surgical options, and then just ask him without feeling threatened, and without feeling like he thought he was more male than me because he had been born male. And I really don't feel that when we hang out. I don't feel like he thinks he's more of a man or more whatever, and I do feel that with some people. Actually, when my best friend from grade school was visiting, and he also turned out to identify as gay, and I just feel like he thinks I'm just, some trans person, that I'm not really a guy, and he doesn't really get that, I had to struggle my whole life, and that I was really male growing up, and it just sucked being a female body. I don't think he could ever comprehend how much it would suck for him to have been born in a female body and have to go through all this just to be viewed as male and stuff, so I don't feel that with Derek, basically, so I felt like I could ask him, this, so I explained, kind of briefly, gave him a brief overview of the phalloplasty, and of the metoidioplasty, and he said that was a really hard decision, which it is. Trans men, I was talking to Troy, we were talking about how it sucks, there's no perfect surgical option. Troy and I have been talking more lately, and it's been great. I love you, Troy. We're reconnecting, and it's just wonderful, but we were just saying, you can always do the option of getting the metoidioplasty first and then getting a phallo if it's not enough for you. I don't know if everyone out there knows it, but you can get a metoidioplasty and then go on to get a phalloplasty if it's not going to work. So I think that is my plan. I'm going to get a metoidioplasty first, but if I'm not satisfied, if I don't feel like it really is enough for me, then I can pursue a phalloplasty. But basically what Derek said, after I gave him a brief overview, he said it was really hard, which it is. I mean, we trans men are faced with this, and we're like, what do we pick, what do we go with? But he said it really depends on how important sex is to you. And one thing we really talked about was getting your own erection. With metoidioplasty, you can get your own erection, but with the phalloplasty, you would have to probably pump it up with a pump located, in the balls, and it would pump up, with an erectile pump. And he said, getting hard is a special thing, and it was really cool to have a born male, recognize that and say that. He's like, it's a very special thing, when you get hard. And he said, he thinks he would go with the metoidioplasty. And after we talked about it further, we talked about it for a good long while, he said he would definitely go with the metoidioplasty. And it was very interesting that he came up with that. And it was really cool to hear this, because I've heard girls say this all the time, but he said size really doesn't matter. It was really cool to hear a gay guy say that. He said actually the best sex he ever had was a guy with a very small penis. He said his balls actually stuck out farther than his penis. It just, stuck out a little bit from his body. It was just tiny when erect. But he said it was the best sex he had. So that, I think, really trans men need to hear, because, girls tell us, oh, size doesn't matter. But, gay male culture is so phallocentric and just puts so much emphasis on the penis. It was great to hear a gay male, just say, it's really not about the size, it's what you do with it. So he said, I explained I was able to, I've been able to penetrate female partners in the past with the growth I have now, so I said, it couldn't get any worse after the metoidioplasty, and he was like, no. So, he said if sex is really important, the metoidioplasty might not be the way to go, but he said, like, if you're with a partner or something, probably really doesn't matter, but then he went on to emphasize that size doesn't matter. So it was really a great conversation to have with someone that had been born male and had navigated the world with male anatomy, and then, knows what it's like to live with a penis, and then, being explained the surgical options. It's very cool that he wasn't just like, oh, no way, I wouldn't pick it because it was small. He was like, we recognize, yeah, it sucks that it's going to be tiny, and I explained how tiny it can be. It's really not, anything that big and stuff. But it was just cool to hear him just pick the metoidioplasty. It was kind of like, whew, like, well, that's all I really can afford. I'm glad that, a guy might think, well, it's tiny, but, and really, dick size and everything. I would rather have been born a guy with a small dick than really a big dick, honestly. Big dicks just don't do it for me. I was looking at some gay porn with Logan the other night, and it's kind of funny, like, I'm not into gay porn, but it's kind of like definitely an anatomy lesson looking at it, but I'm just like, I don't know, it's just, I wouldn't want a huge dick. It's just too much, it's gross. But it was really cool to hear that from someone not trans and born male. But I just want to say that lower surgery is not as much it's not as much on my mind lately, because a hysto is actually more on my mind, and I'm going to find out next Thursday. I'm going to find out a little bit more if I can get it covered, because I have an appointment. See if I can get enrolled in Healthy San Francisco. But the hysto is more on my mind for health reasons, to make sure I never bleed again, to get the estrogen levels down. But lower surgery, it's not as pressing to me now that I'm in San Francisco. In Jacksonville, it was every day because I could not make it through the day. I was so depressed. It's like night and day. It's just really hard for me to go back and look about how depressed I was and how it affected so many people, myself included, Kristen, everyone else, and now where I'm at because of it. But I'm definitely in a much better place. But whatever. I was just in such a hard place, and it was just the only thing that I thought was going to make my life better. But I've had times here, like especially last night, where I was really upset about being trans, and it's like, God damn it. But it's not the worst thing in the world. Working with the developmentally disabled has definitely opened my eyes and just made me realize how lucky I am. But at the same time, being trans isn't easy, so I don't want to say, oh, that dysphoria was for nothing, blah, blah. That's how I felt at the time, and, I think that's how a lot of trans people feel a lot of the time. So I'm just glad to be rid of that. But right now, lower surgery isn't as pressing, and I was talking to Troy, and he said the same thing, He might wait a little bit longer, and it's just, it's expensive, it's a lot to put your body through, and there's lots of complications. Maybe in the 2 years it takes me, or a few years to get the money, something better would have come out. There's a doctor, I believe named Anthony Atala, working at Wake Forest, who is working on hypospadias in infant boys, but, he's working on rerouting the urethra, and that would definitely benefit trans men. So that is awesome. That's really great. And yeah, and I believe Meltzer's coming to Sacramento or something in April. Maybe some guys would want to go. We'll see. But anyways, lower surgery is just not as pressing on my mind anymore because I've been able to settle and make do with my body. Like, I'd be standing up like it's no problem, and I don't torture myself. And what's funny is I made a video once I read an article about how the penis is kind of a barometer of the nervous system. Like, if you're relaxed, it'll stick out more, blah, blah. If you're cold or nervous or upset, it'll kind of retract. In Jacksonville, it's kind of like always retracted into my body. But here, it like sticks out. It's nuts. I'm like, whoa, I don't like a dick hair. Like, it's nuts. I feel more of a presence of a penis, which is really calming to my mind. And that's really great. So, yeah. All right, thanks for listening to me ramble. And have a great weekend. I don't know if I'll update this weekend. Maybe we'll see. But I'm just looking forward to my day off and catching up on sleep and maybe going thrifting. I got this shirt at the thrift store. It's American Apparel. It was like $1. And it's Frameline, LGBT Film Festival, so that's cool. Alright, you guys take care, and hopefully you found this video interesting, helpful, something. Alright, peace.